Can you just give us your impressions of Colorado State? There doesn't seem to be a lot of weaknesses with this team.
No, they're a team that has good experience after last year because they got everybody back except their center. But they're still a young team. I think this is going to be a team that's going to be really good in years to come as well. If they keep everybody together. This is I like their pieces that they have, and they've been very consistent all year. They've got really good guards. They got Roddy who can take over a game, both on the backboard and scoring. So, Thistlewood is a great shooter, and I love their guards. Their guard plays tremendous. So it's a tough matchup, especially coming off a series where we weren't very good in Logan. So we've had good practice, and hopefully we'll have good practice the rest of the week, and try to get back to some kind of momentum that we had before the pause.
This is kind of senior night. I know you guys don't have any seniors and there's not going to be a crowd. The governor directive did say that, you could have 20% capacity of places that have at least 2,500 seats. I think you guys are just going with the 100 fans, but was there any discussion on trying to open up the Lawler a little bit more for this last game, or is that just something that would have been too difficult to do in the time frame?
Yeah, Chris, that's a question I don't know about. I was on the road in Logan when all things went down. So we were just told you could get 50 more people in. So if there's a different percentage, I didn't even know about it. But I think the school's doing 50 more tickets and trying to do more of a raffle, try to get a little bit more students in. We've been having 2 students in every game, just get a couple students the opportunity to get into games. And hopefully this game we can get, we're looking at maybe getting 20 students in. So it's just been an odd year. It's been a really odd year when it comes to attendance and really the lack of. But I think that's what the school is going with.
Getting to play at Logan when they actually had, 1,600 fans or so. I mean, did you feel a noticeable difference? Was there a greater home court advantage in a situation like that?
Oh, without question, there's probably more like 3. I'm not wanting to get them in trouble, but there's much more than 1,600 in there. But yeah, it just there's a liveness to us. There's a volume to us. Most of our games are pretty quiet. You only hear the coaches, you only hear the whistle blow, and you only hear the players at times. Our cheerleaders and our band, when obviously do a great job for us in an empty building. That can't be easy. We talk about the players, but I think with the cheerleaders, the band, that's odd. You're trying to get all this momentum and volume going, and you're doing it in front of an empty building. So we appreciate what our band and cheerleaders have done during this year too, because it hasn't been easy on them either. But Logan was more like what we saw at Grand Canyon, but we basically went from early December all the way till here with not fans. So it was very, very different, and obviously they played very well. And I've been doing it a long time, so I can't say that, we played poorly because of a pause or because of COVID, not playing for 19 days. I know that's odd. It is odd to take 19 days off in February, which is February is usually the dog days of the season. That's when the intensity gets ramped up. That's when emotions get ramped up because everybody's trying to solidify and push towards March. And we got 19 days of not doing any of that. And so I think there was an effect on that. As I talked to other coaches that have had to go through it, they say it's the hardest thing their teams ever had to do was come off a shutdown of 2 weeks or more and have to play competitively. And for us to do that with one of the top teams in our league on their floor, I've got to be patient with this young group and not overreact to what I didn't think was very good play. I really thought there was only about 10 minutes of those 80 minutes that we look like us before the pause. And so I don't know if that's a reason, or Utah State had a lot to do with it. It's a tough matchup. Not only do they have size up front, they've got size in the backcourt. Anthony is a big guard. You've got really good big guards. They really play a point guard, and then they play 2 forwards or a guard, 2 forwards, and a center. So they're very big. And somebody was asking me, hey, you got 1 offensive rebound, they got 17. I'm like, yeah, that's a concern because I don't think that's who we were. But when you look at Utah State, they haven't been out rebounded all year. That's a huge strength of them is size, physicality, and backboard. And we got hurt both games in all those areas. So I don't know if it's a reason, but I do give our guys the benefit of the doubt that, and not only that, we're coming off COVID and we got to change our rotation because before we went on pause, Zane was a part of that rotation. And now Zane, due to his knees, is not playing. So it changed. We're coming off 19 days of not playing, and now we got to mess with the rotation after having good rhythm. So there are a lot of things that went into that, and we just got to hope that we can get some kind of mojo, some kind of momentum going here against a team that, quite honestly, could be playing for their first Mountain West League championship in school history. So, we know what kind of push we're going to get from them and that intensity. And I think when you go pause, and I'm not saying it's better to do a pause in December, but when you pause in February in the dog days, when the intensity is getting ramped up and you go from playing Boise and you take 19 days off and now you got to go play at Logan, that's hard because you don't have that fire. You're not banging bodies. You're not in that intense warfare. And so now we're just trying to get that back. And hopefully we did a little scrimmaging yesterday. I never do 10-minute scrimmages this late in the year, but I'm just trying to get that competitive fire and nature back to a team that was really rolling before we got paused.
Steve, what was it that was so good about the squad through those UNLV and Boise series that you do want to recapture?
Well, I think we were getting better, and we know we've got a young, inexperienced team, and we were starting to see that. And even to this, our tough series so far this year have really been at Utah State and at Wyoming, and those were the toughest series for Grant. Grant didn't play well in either one of those series. And so that's how important he is to us. He's been very consistent all year. He's an all-league performer. He's done so much for us. But I think those 19 days off hurt him because he kind of lost that 35 minutes of competing. It's different if you're maybe a 10 to 15 minute guy and you go on pause. But when you're used to playing 35 plus, and controlling things the way he controls it, I think that hurt him. But in saying that, I thought Trey and Daniel had really good series, and that was good to see from young people. KJ had good game one. Warren had a pretty good game two. So we started seeing a little bit of that, but I just thought we were getting better. Month to month, we were starting to understand what we want to do defensively. We're taking better shots on offense. We're executing our offense better. We knew offensively that would take a little bit more time this year with the young group. But defensively, we were really gaining a lot of momentum too. And I just thought in the Utah State game, we weren't very good on either side in a lot of areas.
With that said, how important is it that you do get at least one of these makeup games before you head to Vegas and a chance? Granted, it's against a team toward the top, but you do get a chance to continue to fine tune and create momentum heading to the tournament.
Yeah, it was just tough because we thought we were going to get 2 games again. I think we're the only team not play San Jose now. So we thought we were going to get 2 games against San Jose and we get shut down. Then we get out of the pause and then they get shut down. So we don't get either one of those games, and we only get 1 game against Colorado State. But, we feel fortunate. We got all of our league non-league games in. If everything goes well with Colorado State and ourselves in the next 48 to 72 hours, we're going to get 17 league games in. So we feel fortunate that, we played almost a full schedule. Not obviously we knew as coaches it wasn't going to be equitable. And we were going to have teams playing 17, 18, 19, 20. You just didn't know what was going to happen there, but everybody's done a good job of trying to get as many as you can in. And we got 1 game left before we have to go to conference tournament time. And as a young team, I'm trying to explain to them, the dog days of February, which we missed a lot of, usually lead into a March where March goes very, very fast. You either stay around and you're having the time of your life, or it's a quick exit and the season's over. And so March has that. That's why I've always thought it's madness. It's not just about the last second shots and those types. It's the madness of a long season to where it either gets extended or it abruptly comes to an end. And so just trying our guys to understand that the value of every possession and really getting back to doing the things that we were doing before the pause. And we've only got 1 game to really get ready for the Mountain West tournament. And that's on Friday night.
What do you want to see Friday night to know that your team's ready for the caliber of competition and the task that sits ahead at the conference tournament?
Yeah, I think offensively having our pace back. I didn't like our pace at all offensively. So getting our pace back of how we cut, how we screen, how we move the ball, the type of shot we get, value in the possession of, we had a lot of what we call pick sixes, even in basketball, that we had a lot of turnovers that led to layups against Utah State. And we hadn't had hardly any of those in over a month of play. So we got to get back to, if you're going to turn it over, needs to be a dead ball turnover. It needs to be a pass to the post. It needs to be a pass inside at the basket. But just the odd turnovers that we had that led the easy baskets for the opponent, we want to take that away. And then defensively, just getting back to having a little bit of nastiness to you, to where you're not easy to score on. We gave up way too many easy baskets in game one. We gave up a lot of threes, I think 11, and that's way too many. We'd been defending the 3-point line a lot better. In game two, we defended the 3-point line, and then we didn't rebound any of those misses. So just the effort of getting to loose balls, and it was really, I thought our pace was bad offensively, and it was bad defensively. We just didn't, for instance, defensively, Chris, I thought we did a decent job of helping, but then we had no rhythm or just the pace that you have to do to recover. Because every time there's a help defensively, there's a recover. And it seemed like we would help, but then we didn't have enough to go recover. And so that affected our pace too. So it's kind of like defending the 3-point shot. We defend the 3-point shot, but we don't recover to go get the rebound. And I just want to get our pace back, and hopefully we can do that at home.
You mentioned Zane. I mean, you guys are 1-4 without him. Obviously, he's a very important player. Is this something that's going to require a procedure after the year that he's gotten through? And I mean, do you feel like he's going to play again this season?
I'm not sure on that. Nothing that the medical staff have told me requires any kind of surgery. It's really, I think more about he doesn't have very good knees. He's got some tendonitis going on, and I think it's really about him being able to handle that. And it's just a tough deal. It's some days he feels good, some days he doesn't, and it's been a really tough deal for him. I know that, and the medical team's helping him as much as he can, and he's trying to get through it. But it hasn't been something that has really improved much over the last couple of weeks. So hopefully that does. But right now he's just kind of day to day, and we're not sure.
Coach, I'm sorry if you've been asked about this already, but I happen to notice that you are no longer the all-time leading scorer in North Central Conference history. Did you know this, and do you have any reaction to finally, after 28 years, being passed up?
Yeah, somebody had told me this about 2 weeks ago. My dad still lives. He didn't tell me this. Somebody had told me, maybe a former player of mine. But Dad's actually doesn't get out of the house much over COVID, but he and my son Corey, they're actually going recruiting together in Southern Indiana. Individual, my son's got committed for next year. So, but I saw that Blackman, and the irony to Blackman breaking my North Central Conference record, he and his dad and I played on the same Indiana All-Star team. So his dad, James Blackman, who coaches him there at Marion, James was a great player, and James and I had some great battles in high school, and then we were on the same Indiana All-Star team. I ended up going to Indiana. James ended up going and had a very good career at Kentucky. So if the record's going to get broke, I'm glad it's by one of the Blackman brothers. Have had a long line of really good talent in that family, and Marion has a long history of producing a lot of good players. So very happy for him, and very happy for the Blackman family.
Rob, go ahead.
Hey, Steve. My name's Rob Schaefer. I'm a reporter. I cover the Bulls out in Chicago. We're working on a story with Zach Levine making his first All-Star team this year. We're talking to kind of figures from his basketball past, kind of just getting perspectives on his ascent. So I was just kind of wondering, as you've kind of watched him from your year coaching him at UCLA to where he is now, just kind of what have you seen from him as he's blossomed to the point he's reached today?
Yeah, I couldn't be happier for him. One, he's a tireless worker. When we had him as a freshman to what he looks like now, you can tell he's really worked on his body. He was a very young player for us, extremely athletic, maybe the most athletic player I've ever coached, and maybe the fastest player. He's got incredible speed, incredible quickness, and athletic ability. And he always had the ability to shoot, but I think he's really progressed, not just as a shooter, but as a scorer. He scores in a lot of ways now. His defense has gotten better every year, and I'm just so proud of him because I know how he and my son Bryce still have a very close relationship, and they talk a lot. And I know that he has worked very, very hard on his game, and he's very deserving of this All-Star selection. And we couldn't be happier. And we saw the things he did. Yeah, the things he did. I knew he'd be a dunk contest winner. I knew that would happen just because of what we saw before and after practices. But for him to become an NBA All-Star in the greatest league in the country, that is a tribute to just how hard he's worked at his game.
Thank you. Appreciate your time.
You mentioned Corey. His team finished 5 games over 500, took over a team that was 2 games under 500. So a nice improvement. How much have you talked to him and tried to help him through his first season as a head coach? And how proud are you of the results that he was able to get?
Well, very proud. I didn't really get to help him much because he doesn't, he's a head coach now, so he didn't pick up the phone. He kind of picks it up when he wants to pick it up. but no, I've teased him about that. But I really tried to do it at a distance because I really felt like he was ready, and I saw he made a comment of, "You're never fully ready. You just got to kind of learn by being thrown to the fire," and he's done that. He's in an incredible league, the Crossroads League, and the NAIA level. It's the best league in the country. And they were able to win 16 games this year. And I think he beat 3 top 15, top 20 teams in year one. And he's doing it all with basically freshmen and sophomores. So he's got a great recruiting class coming in. So he's really building something the right way and doing it the right way. So I'm very, very proud of him. Couldn't be more proud of a year one. As I told him, and he'd be the first. He was 16-11 in his first year. I was 4-16. So he's already got a great jump start on me. But I enjoyed watching every game. I got to see every game and just how he managed his team, either whether it was a good flow or a bad flow, a good win, bad win. I thought for a first-year coach, he well went beyond any expectation of how he managed his team.